Hi, welcome back. I'm Sanyya Gardez. You're watching Broken Silence. And the issue at hand today is marriages. Joining me is Parag Bhargava from Suman Marriage Bureau in Southall and Paul Salahuddin Armstrong. Thank you guys for being on our show today. Parag, let's start with you. Tell us a little bit about your agency and what you do.
Well, Suman Marriage Bureau is primarily just a marriage bureau. We don't go for dating or people looking for companionship. It is for people who are serious about settling down and looking for a partner for marriage. We start off with an application form where we capture details of the individual, a little bit about their family, and then details about the sort of person they're looking for.
What kind of details?
We go into specifics like the religion, caste if it's important to them, age, height, education, marital status, professional backgrounds, etc. And we have 3 different levels of service depending on the needs of the individual. So on the basic service, once we've got the basic information, we can start to match up according to religion as the first part of matching up. Then we look at the age, height, education, family backgrounds, marital status, and provide the introduction. We provide the facility for people to come and meet in our offices where we would allow a half-an-hour introduction meeting.
They come with their parents?
Some do, some don't. The facilities are there to have families involved. If families come along first, we would introduce the 2 families, and then we would take the boy and girl, man, woman, into a separate room where they can sit and chat to each other. It may sound like a very artificial sort of setup, but the fact is it's something that's traditionally been there and still works, but with a modern sort of view to it in that the individual has a lot more say right from the start and right from the end. Quite often parents approach us and they will say, well, it's our children's life. Let them be at the forefront. If they're happy, then we'll get involved.
Well, parents say that, but do they really mean that?
They do. They absolutely do. Because the fact is that marriage nowadays has become very, very difficult finding the right partner because of the increase in breakups. You know, parents are realizing that their children have different tolerance levels to what they had. Their marriages were typically arranged where they had very little say. My own parents met 3 days before they got married. Their marriage was arranged by photographs. And my mother never spoke to my father, and she just had 2 sort of glances up at the dinner table with the rest of the family. Right. And that was it. But whether they had ups and downs in their marriage, they stuck it out because the family pressure was there. The same thing doesn't happen now because you don't have the joint families. You don't have the immediate family all surrounding you. Boy or girl gets married, they're kicked out of the house, you go and make your own life. So because tolerance is less, the families, they want their children to be happy, they want them to be with the partner they choose, as long as they fit in a little bit to the criteria that they have.
But it doesn't sound like it's a little bit. I mean, you ask religion, caste, age, professional background, height.
Height. Girls are fussier about height more than the boys are, but boys are gradually now, if they're sort of 5'10", 6 foot, are making issues about it as well.
Does it really make a difference how tall somebody is?
To be honest, no. I mean, I'm nearly 6 foot. My wife's only 5 foot.
Right.
You know, and I have to put this example across to people because people, you know, people are not tailor-made. You're not walking into a store and picking up a size 10 off the shelf and there you are. You know, so you've got to judge a person for everything. Religion is still important, very much so in the Asian community, and that is our starting point. For parents, religion and caste sometimes is the issue. The rest of it, they say, a compatible education. If it was left to the individuals are certainly a lot more open-minded.
Do you deal with all religions, all castes, or are you...
We do indeed, across the board, Hindu, Punjabi, Gujarati, Sikh, Muslim, and English as well, who are looking for Asian partners. And we actually do across cultural marriages as well, and have been doing so since the 70s.
Can you just tell me a little bit, that's really intriguing. So you have English people that would come to you and say, I want an Asian partner.
More English men than women, but they are looking for an Asian partner because, especially Asian women, because they find that they are perhaps better homemakers, and I use that word very broadly because the homemaker definition has changed, but we get ladies who have perhaps been born and brought up in this country and lived a very Western lifestyle and feel more comfortable in a Western atmosphere than they would in the Asian family. Okay. Likewise, somebody going for a second marriage may consider somebody of a Western background because they've had problems with family.
Do you have quite a few clients that have been divorced?
I would say about 30-35% of our clientele are from divorced backgrounds, yes.
And what's the success rate of people that you have matched?
We are in our 37th year now, and we have arranged in excess of 8,000 marriages.
Wow.
We now have children coming to us whose parents were originally married through us.
Oh, interesting.
So we're on the 2nd generation, and the reason they're coming to us because they've seen that their parents' marriage has worked out. You know, we were talking earlier about love marriage and arranged marriage, and the analogy that I use is that of sort of building up this house, where marriage is your home, the matrimonial home. In that love marriage, the 2 individuals have seen each other, and what you see is what you get, and you're just building up from there. With the arranged marriage, you're starting from the basic foundations. Religion is the key part for a lot of the families. Building up from there, age, height, education, occupation. So all the basic foundation work is done. Then you're actually choosing in your house curtains, windows, colours. You're then seeing the people and assessing the personality, the nature,
But
the
it
intelligence.
does sound a little bit like going to the grocery store and picking up a pint of milk. You know what I mean? It sounds very plastic.
It sounds plastic, but when you look deep into it, when we consider all the other ways which are working out there, all people are doing with speed dating and with internet, what are you actually doing? They're all providing a networking service of some kind. The fact is that our networking service is going more in depth to potentially give you a greater chance of success.
Have you ever had a client come to you and you know, confide in you and tell you, actually, it's really not my idea to do this, it's my parents'?
We've had a handful of cases where they haven't, well, one person actually said that, look, it's not me, it's my parents.
So what do you do then? Do you go ahead with...
We tell the parents that your son or your daughter is not ready for this, so why are you forcing them into this? You know, we've come across an odd occasion where you can tell that this person's turning everybody down. They must have something else on their mind. And we've spoken to the girl and she says, well, I'm actually with somebody.
Oh, right.
And I'm here for my parents.
Sure.
But these cases are very, very rare cases.
Yeah.
Generally, the individuals are filling out the forms, even when the parents are involved. So it's what they're looking for within the constraints of what the family wants, and then they're working together.
Paul, what's your take on this whole arranged marriage business?
Well, I mean, obviously, I'm a Westerner myself, but...
You don't say.
But I'm of the Muslim faith, and I'm very deeply involved within the Asian community.
Are you married to an Asian woman?
I am, but not Asian from the subcontinent, Asian from China.
Oh, okay.
And that was actually a love marriage. Although I was actually, before I met my wife, I was very open to the possibility of actually being set up as well if somebody was introduced to me from within the community. I was not against it.
So do you think more and more non-Asians are looking for somebody to arrange them a marriage?
Well, just look on the internet, for instance, the number of actual marital agencies out there which deal with people from all different countries, or dating agencies, or other kind of introductory agencies, there's too many to count. You know, there's thousands, millions of them across the world. Yeah, I think a lot of people nowadays are looking for that extra bit of help within the introduction.
I take it your partner is Muslim?
She is now. And no, I didn't force her.
Okay. So
that was part of the arrangement. When I actually talked to my wife before we got married, I did say to her, I said, I promise you I will never force you to follow my religion.
Right.
But out of her own choice, she embraced Islam by herself.
So you are of the opinion that, I take it, that arranged introductions are a good thing, and they are the way forward.
I think both types of marriages can work. But it depends. If you go into a love marriage and all you have
We're going to have to really define this whole love marriage business because, you know, Asians throw that word up. You know, you met somebody, you think they're cute, hey, that's a love marriage. And that's...
Well, I was about to say, if you go into a love marriage and you have the Bollywood sort of idea or the Hollywood idea of you meet a girl and it's all like a dream, then obviously that's not realistic. But if you go into a love marriage understanding that your partner is a human being and has strengths and weaknesses, then obviously, you know, you might be able to work things out and have a very successful marriage. But on the other hand, I mean, you could have an arranged marriage. Certain things haven't been taken into account. So even though in theory it should actually work, it doesn't work. Or they might be perfectly set up, but the love just doesn't appear within the relationship.
You know, when I was growing up, my mother always said, you know, you marry somebody who fits all the other criteria and love will come into it. Do you guys agree with that?
Absolutely. I think love is often mistaken as a physical attraction. Okay.
Well, there has to be a physical attraction.
Absolutely. But if you just marry somebody because you're physically attracted to them, you know, and the way they talk and the way they speak and that's it, you know, there is a lot more that can go wrong. Whereas if you have all that foundation work matched up and you meet, that love can grow. And love, you know, a lot of people say, well, love is the most important thing in a marriage. But love comes after two people can actually respect each other. Two people can respect each other when they can trust each other. So if you think about it logically, trust is the most vital part of a marriage, that you can blindfoldedly walk with your partner.
But then trust